Good evening, good evening, good evening, my beautiful ones, my wise ones, my melanated ones. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and I am Wisdom Reborn, y'all. I hope this Monday, first day of the week, first day of the work week, has been a great day for you. It has been a peculiar day for me. I woke up this morning, my hip was hurting. I immediately flashed back to the day I got shot. That's a different story I have to tell y'all about. I went to a party. If you ever heard the comedian Cat Williams tell you about how he got shot, I got shot the exact same way. At a party, everything was, popping off at the party. As a matter of fact, it was my friend Wanda's birthday. It was her 25th birthday. It was, let me go ahead and tell the story now then. It was September the 27th, 1991. I think it was it was either 26th or the 27th. I could have looked it up on the calendar. Anywho, Wanda was turning 25 and she had a party in Gastonia. Some little young guys came and one of them had on a bad Bob Marley jacket. It was just, I loved it. So I like your jacket. Then the next thing I know, I see the guy with the jacket on get into a little argument with somebody. Then I saw somebody go tell him he had to leave, and I was like, ooh, it's getting ready to be a fight. So I walk outside to see what's going on. As soon as I stepped off the steps, I got hit with a 9mm in the thigh. Went straight through. Child, that was a mess. That was my very first pair of Jordans. I only got to wear them on that particular day. Oh. So let me back up a little bit because I just remembered something. So my Aunt Donna was babysitting for me that night. And she told me, I don't want you to go to this party. And I was like, oh no, I was married at the time. I was like, my husband bought me these new Jordans. Me and him getting ready to go to this party. I'm going to this party. I'm dancing. I'm going to this party. Had on my red and black Jordans. And I was super excited. She said, well, if you insist on going, I'm going to pray for you. I was like, okay. She prayed for me. She commanded angels to encamp around me. She said, I'm so scared you gonna die tonight. And I was like, I am not gonna die tonight. I'm going to a party. She said, no, the Lord told me you gonna die. She dispatched them angels. She said, Lord, do not let him take her life. Ooh, She laid hands on me and I went to that party anyway. Had she not prayed for me, commanded the angels to protect me. Y'all, they said the bullet was only centimeters, less than an inch, but just centimeters away from, can't even think right now, the name of the blood vein or vessel through your thigh that would make you bleed to death. It went straight through, from one thigh, through my abdomen, out my right hip, broke my hip. Wow. That just took me somewhere. Whew, my God. Nonetheless, I got shot that night. That's not the first nor the last near death experience that I've had. Whew. Stepped out of the building. Soon as I stepped down, I felt a rush of heat from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I was so hot. I was sweating. I didn't even feel the pain. I was sweating. My cousin ran across the yard. Nene, you got shot. I looked down. I saw the blood. And the front of me didn't hurt. The back of me where the bullet exited hurt. It broke my hip. I had to wear a bag for a few months because it didn't do any real internal damage. However, it did do it created some scar tissue, a path of scar tissue, and they really wanted that to heal. So in order to keep that from healing, they wanted everything to remain, empty. So I had to wear a bag for a while. My then husband was so he helped me through this. He really, that was his job. He did his job. I cannot take that away from him. But we went to the hospital. I had too much alcohol in me to be put under. They had to cut me open, put the tube down my nose, cut me open with only local anesthesia. So I was talking to the surgeon the whole time, Dr. Wesson. I will never forget Dr. Wesson. Talking to the surgeon the whole time, telling him that if you have to amputate my leg, I want it, because I'm going to find the boy who shot me and I'm going to beat him with my leg. Fortunately, I still have that leg. That leg done been through a lot, y'all. I still have that leg. And all I could remember was I kept telling my then husband, take my Jordans out of the car and soak them in baking soda and water because the left shoe was full of blood. He didn't. He kept forgetting to do it. I was in the hospital for a little over a week. When I finally got out of the hospital to go home, he opens the trunk. What do I smell? The blood in the Jordan. I soaked that shoe. I washed that shoe. I soaked that shoe. I could not get the smell of blood out of that shoe. He offered to replace my shoes. I told him I don't want another pair of Jordans. Get me another pair of shoes, but don't get me another pair of Jordans. In 2021, my oldest daughter bought me a pair of Jordans for Christmas, and that was the first time I'd had a pair of Jordans since then. And y'all, guess what? I couldn't even wear the left Jordan then because I had surgery on my left foot, and so I could only wear the right Jordan. That is so funny. But that ain't even what I was going to say. That's not even what I was going to say. What I was going to get on here and talk to y'all about was things that have happened in my life that make me want to tell my life story. And that is one of those things that makes me want to tell my life story. But that's not why I got on here to talk to y'all about. I got on here to talk to y'all about this last real incident that happened in 2022 that made me want to dig deep into myself to find out what's really going on with me. So I was at a job, and at my job I had a boss of European descent, a female, and she felt the need to throw the N-word around in a conversation with me. Now, of course, during that time we were working virtually, and it threw me for a real loop. It really got in my head. All I could think of was, who in the world do she think she is? And she can talk to me like that. It was in October. It was the week of my daughter and my grandson's birthday. I was a Medicare insurance agent, so it was during open enrollment time, and AEP, annual enrollment time. And y'all, when I tell y'all it shook me. I had a lot going on that week. My grandson was we were having my grandson a huge birthday party, and then my daughter's birthday is 2 days after his birthday. So we had guests coming in from out of town. It was a whole lot going on. So I kind of compartmentalized that and put that to the back burner. However, I did tell upper management. After all of the birthday party and all of that stuff was over with, it came back up. And The company that I work for told me that it's not a big deal. We don't understand what the deal is, because she didn't say it maliciously. How can you, a non-melanated female, throw the N-word out to a melanated female and it not be malicious? What she said was, I almost called you because you did that because I was able to convert a sale. That, my initial thought process was, who does she think she is? That bothered me, and that bothered me. So for a couple of weeks, while we were in the process of trying to figure out what we were going to, well, it was about a week and a half, I was trying to figure out how I was going to handle the situation. Management had already talked to her, and after management talked to her, at that point, I got the opportunity to confront her online. Got the videotape and everything, because I'm smart enough to video that. But as we were discussing it, she called me in for a one-on-one. I go in for my one-on-one on a Zoom call. And on the Zoom call, she telling me, well, I said, I don't like the way it happened. We need to talk about this. It just, her blatant disrespect for how I felt about it changed my thought process from who does she think she is to who the hell do she think I am? That made me go internally, which is how I have learned to deal with circumstances and situations that have happened in my life. I honestly can't hold anybody else responsible for anything. But what I can do is make sure that I am doing what I'm supposed to do in a way that it is supposed to be done. Now, mind you, I'm a professional. I'm a high school dropout, college graduate, raised 2 children of my own and several of other people's. I've had people ask me to keep their kids, and I have kept their kids for years. 2 of them. Almost 3 of them. 3 of them. And kept their kids for years while also being active in the community, making sure that the kids have somewhere to go. So in my mind, I'm thinking I am somewhat accomplished in some areas. And who does this chick think she is that she can talk to me like this? So I had to go into me. So what made her think that she could talk to me like that? Which made me dig deeper. And as I was digging deeper, it took me to a time when I was in the 4th grade. When I was in the 4th grade at Rankin Elementary School in Mount Holly, North Carolina, I had a teacher. Her name was Miss Childs. In our house, my grandfather sneezed really loud. He would go, achoo. It was funny. Sometimes he did little things like that to make us laugh. So in school, I sneezed. I didn't do the chewy to it, but I just sneezed, and it was a loud sneeze. And she said, don't you do that again in my class. Yeah, she was Caucasian. She said, don't you do that again in my class. And everybody almost knows sneezes come in 2s. So when I sneezed the second time, it was a loud sneeze too. She came over to my desk. She kicked me on my leg. And she said to me, you are not going to act like a little niglet in my classroom. Don't you ever do that again. So of course I went running home, told my grandma, told my mama. And this was one of the times when I realized that my mother really didn't care about me. She really didn't. No, I ain't gonna say she didn't care about me. I will say she didn't care for me. If somebody, anybody, my children are in their, one is late 30s, one is early 30s. If today somebody kicked one of my kids and called them out of their name, I guarantee you I would be there so quick their head would spin, and whoever was there with them would have to deal with the consequences of me getting there, because I would probably either have Peaches or Helen with me, and those are my firearms. I would have Peaches or Helen with me, and we would have to discuss it. But that ain't how it happened. My mama went to the school, and that morning we went to the office, and Mr. Craig was the principal, and Mr. Craig saw my mama in the office, and they rushed me to the breakfast line to get me some juice. And you know, I'm talkative, so when I get finished with talking with them, I mean in the breakfast line, and finally make it back to the office, they tell me that I don't need to be in the meeting. There's nothing that I need to hear. Okay, why don't I need to be there? Why can't I shed some light on the subject? Nothing happened. Miss Childs kept her job. I stayed in her classroom, and nothing happened. That was a time when I realized, Renee, you got to be able to do some of this stuff for yourself. You got to learn to stand up for yourself. You cannot, the adults around you are not going to look over you and watch over you like they supposed to. So I guarantee you I never had another problem out of a teacher like that. Never did. Because if I did have a school bus driver that called me out of my name, and she had to put the bus in park, and she got beat up, y'all. I beat the wheels off of her. She and my mama were friends. Thought she could talk to me any kind of way. By that time, I was in the 9th grade at that time, at McClintock. But yeah, she and my mama was friends. She called me out of my name. She had to put that bus in park because I wore her head out. I can't even remember what her name is, but I bet you, I ain't had no problems like that no more. No, I didn't. I said all that to say, I cannot, nor can you, control the actions of someone else. I can't control how they think of me. I can't control how they look at me. I can't control none of that. I can only control me, my actions and my reactions. I'm not as angry as I used to be, but I still get angry, and I will still go upside your head if I have to. I don't want to, but if I have to, I'm so thankful that I had that era in my life. Excuse me. And Cotton Heath, my daddy, taught me how to fight, so I knew a good left hook, a right uppercut, a good two-piece, just a good two-piece. That's all it takes. That chin check somebody. That chin check, that'll knock them down. That'll lay them down. That'll lay them down. But I didn't want to, nonetheless, I just want y'all to know I'm human and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. There are some things that still require work. But one of the things that does not require work is that people you can't just call people out of their names and expect for them not to react. Now, that took me back to 4th grade, which made me have to relive that 4th grade situation. Then there was a 5th grade situation. All of this happened right after my uncle touched me when I was 8. I was 9 in the 4th grade. It was like, from that, it was a snowball effect of things happening. And wow. I am so grateful to be able to look back at those things and be able to laugh about them. I am so thankful that I can take me out of the equation and see how the people around me were dysfunctional, delusional, and unreliable. that has put me in a position to where I want to take care of myself. I don't want to have to rely on somebody else for anything. Nothing. I hate to ask people for stuff because, for one, I don't like to hear the word no. And for two, you never know what might happen to where you can't keep up your end of the bargain on how you ask someone for something. What you can do, though, is not worry about your reputation, because people are going to feel about you the way people feel about you, and there's nothing you can do about that. But you can work on your character, and you can make sure that your character speaks volumes for the person that you are. So although I have been called the N-word by at least 2 people in authority in my life, I can look back at both of them, and I can look back at Miss Childs, and I wish she was still alive, but she was old back then, or she seemed like she was old back then. She might have not have been old back then, because melanin keeps you looking young, and when you don't have melanin, sometimes you look a lot older than you really are before you're that old. But I just was thinking about those things. And in thinking about some of the things that have happened in my life, it's shown me where I was able to overcome those situations and those circumstances by looking at me. Could I help my then supervisor, who during the midst of the whole situation got promoted to a manager? Instead of being terminated, in corporate America, where diversity and inclusion is being scooped up under the rug or kicked out, but nonetheless, where an individual can say such a derogatory statement or word and it be misconstrued as a term of endearment. Because that's what she said. She said, you notice I used the GGA instead of the ER. I thought it was like a term of endearment. You hear it everywhere on the rap videos, in the music. You hear it everywhere. I don't care where you hear it at. Just because you hear it don't mean you can say it. And thank God. I'm going to thank Jesus for this one. And y'all know how I feel about the Jesus issue. I'm going to thank Jesus that we was on a Zoom call instead of in a conference room. Because had we been in a conference room, that situation would have been way different. It would have one that, excuse me, it would have been one that went down in the books. It would have been in the books. It would have been the annual enrollment period news of the day. What not to do during an annual enrollment period. And do y'all know those people? Though I ain't even gonna go there. And there's so much that I can't say because of legalities that are pending. But if you are in a position to where someone, for whatever reason, feels like they can talk to you any kind of way, try not to lose your temper. Reflect on who you are, how you were handling yourself during that situation. And then we just have to thank the Most High and the universe that we don't hurt nobody. Because in 2025, it would have been real different. Real different. Real different. If that was to happen to me today. If that was to happen to me today, face to face, I still don't know how I would handle it. Still don't know how I would handle it. I would try very hard not to act like an N-word. But my daddy used to say, if you want to call me that, let me show you what it is. And he was not a fighter. He was not. He taught me to be a fighter. My father wanted to be a boxer, but he had a club foot, so he couldn't box. he would stumble sometimes, but he had uh, um, a medicine ball and the bag out beside his house, and the big weight bag out beside his house, and he would show me how to throw them punches, and I would throw them punches, and yeah. So I'm glad that it happened like it happened. Look, y'all, I done told y'all today about uh, fourth grade when I got shot, and that recent incident that made me go inward to figure out who I am or how I come across to people. And sometimes you just can't help it, but sometimes you just gotta set the record straight. So you just gotta set the record straight sometimes. And that's what it is. I have walked away from some family members in 2024, and I have no intention on going back, none whatsoever. I have had confirmation just telling that story about my fourth grade and how that should have been a lawsuit to Gaston County school system. You abused a child, you physically assaulted a child, then you called a child a racially charged adjective. That it don't work like that no more. We live in a totally different world, but we gonna keep on living in this world, and we gonna realize it's even more different than where we came from. Yeah. Go inward. Don't go outward. Just go inward. Go inward, and when you go inward, it will uncover things that you have forgotten. It will make you laugh, and it might even make you cry. But it will make you better. And I promise it will make you better. So if any of those little stories helped you in any way, if it made you laugh in any way, I'm glad. I don't tell these stories, and I don't say what's going on with me for anybody to feel any kind of sorry for me, because I am what? Not a victim. I am a victor. I am victorious in everything that I do. Everything that I have ever put my hands to has been accomplished. I have succeeded at. And I have to think back on things and how I overcame in order to remind me of how powerful, how strong, how courageous, how loving, how caring, and how I still got that. Even though I had shoulder on my left arm, that right uppercut was still make me a two-hitter quitter, child. I have enjoyed this little almost 30-minute session with y'all. Y'all, I just been yapping. However, I feel like as I share different parts of my life, different things that I've overcome, it's going to help y'all overcome. It's going to help you see that there can be healing in everything. There can be healing in the most hurting things in our life. There is still room to heal. And this has been just some talking, some sharing, some caring, some laughing for my beautiful ones, my wise ones, my melanated ones, but especially my beautiful, wise, and melanated ones. It's Wisdom Reborn, y'all. It's January 13th. It's a full moon. That's it's a full moon, y'all. That's what's wrong. That's exactly what's wrong. That's not wrong, no, it's right. The cycle is coming to an end. It's gonna have to start all over again. Really, well, it's at midpoint. It's gonna have to start all over again real soon. And in the midst of it starting all over again, y'all, let's be able to smile. Let's be able to laugh. Let's be able to know that we are accomplished. We have got some notches on our belt that actually means something. Yes. I love y'all. I want y'all to have a wonderful day. Blessings, and more blessings.